Los Angeles, known for its glitz and glamour, also has its shadows and dangers. It was a typical Sunday night and I, Tom, 28 years old, had just arrived at Union Station, returning from a weekend trip. I was tired and eager to get home, but little did I know that night would be anything but ordinary. I got off the train, adjusted my headphones, and started walking towards the taxi stand. The station was surprisingly busy for a Sunday night, with people coming and going, some in a hurry, others wandering aimlessly. I was lost in my thoughts, reminiscing about the good times I had on the trip, when I noticed a man approaching. He was of medium height, wearing a mask, and looked nervous. At first, I thought he might ask for directions or perhaps some help. However, as he got closer, I could hear his firm and direct voice, "Robbery." At that moment, my heart raced and my mind went into alert mode. It was a robbery, and I was about to be the victim. Instinctively, I kept walking, pretending not to have heard. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears, but I remained calm and kept moving forward. The man, clearly surprised by my lack of reaction, repeated louder, "Robbery." This time, I looked at him. I stopped for a moment and looked directly into his eyes, without saying a word. I'm not exactly sure what went through my mind at that moment. Maybe it was the fatigue from the trip or the simple disbelief of being robbed at Union Station. But something inside me said to keep walking. The man stood still, staring at me, probably confused by my reaction. He kept his hand under his coat, insinuating that he was armed, but made no aggressive move. A few seconds passed that felt like an eternity. I was motionless, looking at him, and he was looking back at me. Finally, he gave up. Without saying another word, he turned and walked away. I, still in shock, continued walking to the taxi stand. My mind was racing, trying to process what had just happened. In the taxi, I told the story to the driver, who was equally perplexed. It was then that reality sank in. I could have been robbed, or worse. I was lucky, very lucky. But that night taught me something valuable about myself. The courage and calm I showed, even unintentionally, were enough to avoid a potentially dangerous situation. When I got home, I sat on the couch and took a deep breath. I thought about how life can change in an instant and how the city of stars has its own mysteries and dangers. That night, Los Angeles showed me a side I had never seen, and I learned to appreciate every moment, even the most ordinary ones. Days passed, and that experience didn't leave my mind. I wondered what might have happened if I had reacted differently. With each thought, my gratitude for safety increased. I decided to share my story with friends and family, and every time I told it, the disbelief on their faces reflected my own. A week later, I was in a local cafe, reviewing some work documents, when I saw a news article about a rise in robbery cases in busy areas of Los Angeles. The news brought back all the emotions of that night. As I read, a specific sentence caught my attention. Authorities recommend that in case of a robbery, citizens remain calm and do not react aggressively. It was exactly what I had done, albeit unconsciously. I continued my routine, but with a new perspective on safety. I began paying more attention to my surroundings, especially in public places. Union Station, which was once just a common stop, now represented a point of reflection on the unpredictability of urban life. A month passed and my life returned to normal, but the lesson of that night remained. I decided to enroll in a self-defense course, not only to protect myself, but to feel that I was doing something proactive for my safety. The classes were intense, but each session left me more confident and prepared for unforeseen situations. In one of the classes, the instructor talked about the importance of staying calm in dangerous situations, reinforcing what I had already learned in practice. That experience became a story of learning, which I shared with my classmates. They listened attentively, and some even thanked me for sharing something so personal. Life continued in Los Angeles, full of ups and downs. The city, with all its glitz and glamour, also had its moments of shadow, but I felt more prepared to face them. That night at Union Station taught me the importance of calm, observation, and preparation. You never know when an unexpected situation might arise, but being mentally and physically prepared makes all the difference. One morning, while having my coffee and reading the newspaper, I saw a letter to the editor from someone who had also experienced an attempted robbery. The person described the feeling of fear and the decision not to react aggressively. I immediately identified with it and realized that many in the city shared similar experiences. I decided to write my own letter to the editor, sharing my story and the lessons I had learned. The response was surprising. I received several emails from people thanking me for sharing my experience and expressing their own stories and fears. That made me realize that I was not alone. Los Angeles was a city of millions of intertwined stories, and each one contributed to the complex web of urban life. One night, months later, I received an email from a local organization promoting community safety. They invited me to speak at an event on public safety, sharing my story and the lessons I had learned. Although initially hesitant, I decided to accept. I wanted my experience to help others feel safer and more prepared. At the event, I was nervous as I stepped onto the stage. I looked at the audience and saw attentive and interested faces. I shared every detail of that night at Union Station, talking about the fear, the unexpected calm, and the decisions I made. The reaction was positive, with many people thanking me after the event. That night was a milestone in my life. I realized that despite the dangers, the Los Angeles community was strong and supportive. There was a collective desire to make the city a safer place for everyone. I continued to get involved with the organization, participating in workshops and events, always remembering the night that changed my life. My story was not just about a foiled robbery. It was about resilience, community, and the importance of being prepared. Los Angeles, with all its complexity, continued to be my home, and I was determined to be part of the positive change, making the city safer, one story at a time. After the event, I realized that sharing my story had created a positive impact on the community. I received invitations to speak at other venues and to participate in radio shows and podcasts. Each opportunity to tell my experience was a chance to raise awareness about the importance of personal safety and calm in crisis situations. At one of these events, I met Sarah, a survivor of a violent robbery. Her story was both inspiring and terrifying. We talked at length about our experiences, and she thanked me for my story, saying she had learned a lot from my decisions that night. We decided to collaborate on a project to promote community safety, offering workshops and lectures in schools and community centers in Los Angeles. In the following months, our project gained momentum. We got support from various organizations and secured funding to expand our activities. We created a website with resources and information on how to protect yourself in dangerous situations and offered free self-defense classes to the community. The response was incredible, and more people joined our movement. Meanwhile, my personal life was also changing. The traumatic experience of the robbery made me reassess my priorities and seek a better balance between work and personal life. I began spending more time with friends and family, valuing every moment together. Safety and well-being became frequent topics in our conversations, and everyone was more alert and careful. One day, I was invited to speak at a national conference on urban safety. It was a huge honor, and I was nervous as I prepared for the event. I knew it would be an opportunity to reach an even larger audience and share the lessons I had learned. When I stepped onto the stage, I remembered all the people I had met along the way and how our stories were interconnected. I shared my story with the same passion and sincerity as always. I talked about the importance of calm, preparation, and community. The audience's reaction was amazing, and many came to talk to me afterward to share their own experiences and thank me for the work we were doing. After the conference, our project received more support and recognition. We were invited to participate in television programs and documentaries, and our message spread even further. Los Angeles was becoming a more aware and prepared city, and I was proud to be part of this change. Over time, our team grew and new initiatives were launched. We started working with the local police to create community partnership programs, and our self-defense workshops became popular throughout the city. The demand for our classes increased, and we saw a real impact on people's safety. My life had completely changed since that night at Union Station. What started as a terrifying experience turned into a life mission, and I was determined to continue helping others. Each story shared, each person we met, reinforced the importance of our work. Our project, now known as Safety for All, continued to grow. We were expanding to other cities and states, bringing our message of preparedness and resilience to an even larger audience. Each new step was a reminder of how far we had come and how many lives we had touched. Finally, after years of dedicated work, I felt it was time to reflect on everything that had happened. I gathered my team and thanked everyone for their incredible effort and dedication. Looking back, I saw not just a story of personal overcoming, but a collective journey of transformation and growth. To conclude this story, I want to reflect on how much this experience transformed me and motivated me to help others. The robbery at Union Station was not just an isolated event, but a catalyst for significant changes in my life and the community around me. As safety for all grew, I saw the positive impact we could have. Every self-defense class, every workshop, and every lecture were important steps in creating a safer and more aware city. Working together with the community brought me a sense of purpose and fulfillment that I had never experienced before. While reflecting on our journey, I was grateful for all the people I had met and all the stories shared. These connections reinforced the importance of empathy and mutual support. I realized that although we can't control all the circumstances around us, we can prepare and strengthen our resilience. Looking to the future, my mission is to continue expanding our work, helping more people feel safe and empowered. The experience at Union Station taught me that even in moments of greatest fear, we can find strength and courage within ourselves. The journey of safety for all is just beginning, and I am excited to see where it will take us. Together, we can build stronger and safer communities, where everyone has the confidence to face any challenge life presents. So, what did you think of this story? I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories like this. We want to hear your opinion. What would you do if you were in Tom's situation? Leave your comment below. Until next time, and don't forget to activate notifications so you don't miss any videos. Thank you for watching and see you soon.